Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with an evening update for Bitcoin. So, the daytime price action has been kind of boring. Nothing really much happened. And if we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, this 4 does not overlap. Let's keep it over the 1. And then if we should see 5. And I was debating as to whether to do an evening update or not, because there's not much to update. The only caution I would give would be the alternate count is still up. We now can see an expanded flat where the C can traverse to maybe the region of wave 4, like this. And if that's the case, then we will bring all of this here. Here. But I don't think so. This still remains an alternate, an expanded flat. If that's the case, we'll start seeing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse down for the C wave. Okay. This would be the expanded flat option. But I found it usually unusual for a bull flag to be so wimpy. So that right after that you get a correction to where it started almost. And if this actually happens after the correction is complete, we could expect an impulse around up to where it was supposed to be. So even if it goes this way, I think the destination is the same. Now, let's temporarily remove these. I want to go through some forward discernment work. Okay. What could happen is something like this. So let's draw our line. Let the price come down, up, and down again. So this had been been on the back of my mind. If we get an ABC, and instead of an impulse we get an ABC, a 3 variation down again, we then have a head and shoulders. So that could look like, basically to label it, left shoulder, right shoulder, head. Not a J. So we have a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And this would be the neckline. That's really, I guess, the worst case scenario that I'm looking at right now, just in case. This is like my tertiary count, second alternate. And quite often, second alternates are the ones that require, that has the most input on from a forward price discernment perspective. Quite often also it's more error prone. It doesn't turn out. But I'm presenting it because when you look at the volume, so you have the left shoulder volume, the head volume is much higher, and if you get a right shoulder volume, if this pattern does play out that way from a pricing point of view, then you have something different. Then you have something that could be a little bit different. I'm not saying you should be alarmed. I'm not saying you should sell. I'm only saying this is something to be keeping an eye on from a once, if we start seeing this pattern developing, we will not be so far surprised. So how could this be looked upon with Elliott waves? It would look like this. 3 would be here, 4 would be here, 5 would be there. So we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that's the case, then after 5 waves, there is a requisite ABC retracement. I've always said that the ABC often retraces to 4, but in this case, if this pattern forms, the retracement will be deeper to maybe here. Because my minimum weight, I'm just eyeballing this. Close enough. That would be the minimum travel, and expect a little bit of exceed. If you refer to the book Elliott Wave Principle, you will see that the only inhibition for wave 2 is, the only rule for wave 2 is that it cannot equal the start of 1, which in this case will be right here. Technically speaking, even if it retraces 99%, it's still wave 2. Although I've never really liked that. I've rarely seen that, in other words. That's why I usually go by wave 4 if this is expanded. But if we have a head and shoulders top, we can see a lower low. And then from here, it'll be still again similar to same destination. So I'm not saying that this has high confidence. It's my second alternate account. But it's something that I'm going to keep my eye out for very closely, especially when volume is already confirming. So we need to see a lower low compared to this low to the neckline, bounce off, and this might take us through till Thursday or so, let's say. It's an hourly chart. Or Friday, rather, sorry. And then complete maybe sometime Saturday, Sunday, if it happens this way. So I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on this. I think you should all as well. So what does this mean? Buy the dip. BTFD. Here's an ABC. Go find the terminal end, ladder back in, because I think the destination will still be the same. So here's Bitcoin Cash. Again, I'm going to, on this one too, I'm going to remove a few of the symbols and labels. So clearly we have an ABC, I believe. Impulse. I would expect this to go upwards. So this would be my primary count. Remember the hurry up and wait syndrome. What I'm kind of thinking now, if I had to see a bearish case, A, B, C for A, B, this is, the reason why I'm doing this is because this looks very three-wavy-ish. A, B, C, B, A, B, complex, 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 and a drop. The reason why I'm doing this is because 1, 2, 3, 4, look how extended wave 5 was. And it only retraced to 4, which is okay. I'll take that still as a primary, and as I showed you earlier, it'll go upwards. But usually when wave 5 is so extended, retracement is down to wave 2 areas. I'm not presenting this to tell everybody to become alarmed. Or anything. Only as an alternate scenario. This wave 5 was so extended. Even if I put wave 3 and 4 here, it was so extended. And wave 5, I'd say 65% of the time, means a very deep retracement. So if I put 3 and 4 here, then the retracement went beyond 4, and that was a pretty deep retracement. Okay. That could support the bullish scenario of breaking it up earlier. And like I've consistently said, Elliot waves has multiple ways of counting, while the destination often remains the same or about the same. Okay. And while I was going to do something else, but I won't. I'll keep that separate. The other thing that compels me to disregard that alternate is this is very lateral. If it was going to go down, it would have gone down already. I guess that's what I'm saying. Which is why my primary support is, primary count is still up. For it to start going upwards. So let's see what happens overnight. The last thing you want to do is panic. Like last night, last thing you want to do is panic. Last thing you want to do is panic. You want to forward discern, okay, if this is significantly decreasing right now, what count could be discerned? And before it happens, if it happens, I'm trying to forward discern the count. Again, this is not my primary count. This is my second alternate. I'm only going to keep a very close eye on it because the volume is so confirming so far. Let's see what happens with the overnight pricing. Have a good night.